Hello, let's look at the geometry revisions August 2010, starting from number 1. Let's get started here. So, we have a triangle ABC supposed to be congruent to XYZ. When things are written in this way, we realize that A has to be corresponding to X, and B has to correspond to Y, and C to Z. Now then, in this case, which two statements identify corresponding congruent parts for these triangles? So we have AB, which is this line segment. Is that equal to XY? It seems to be same location. C and Y, angle C and Y. In fact, this one looks more like a right angle, while this one is smaller. But more than that, when you look at the location here, C is the last letter, Y is in the middle, so it wouldn't work. Earlier we talked about AB supposed to be corresponding to XY, not YZ, so therefore second one is out. XY has to be corresponding to AB, not BC, so this one should be out. Then it seems to be the last one supposed to be the answer. Let's look at it. BC, which is this line segment, is corresponding to YZ, and then when you look at that, those are the two last two letters, and angle A and then angle X. That's right, so therefore our answer is supposed to be choice 4. Alright, let's look at number 2 here. A support beam between the floors of the between the floor and the ceiling of the house forms 90-degree angle with the floor. The builder wants to make sure that the floor and then the ceiling are parallel. Now, so here what we are looking at is this. If this is floor and this is ceiling, and we have some sort of beam between that. So let us say this is a beam. Now we realize that this is 90-degree angle. Now then the question is, which angle should the support beam form with the ceiling? So what should be the angle between those two? In fact, it has to be also equal to 90, because you realize that the angles, interior angles on the same side has to be supplementary. Or even if you have to go for alternate interior angle, you'll realize that they also has to be 90 degrees, since they're supposed to be congruent to each other, which tells us that choice 3 will be our answer. Then in that case, you will realize these two lines are parallel. Alright, let us look at number 3. So we have triangles, and then smaller triangles inside is made by the midpoint of the bigger triangle. Now, perimeter of the triangle ABC, big one is 36. Then what is the length of EF, which is, this is our question mark right over here. The fact that each line segment, the perimeter is 36, that means each line segment must be 12. Since these are the midpoints, you realize that this one must be also equal. This one must be equal to 6. But likewise, another way for you to look at it is this. Since this line segment is 12, the mid segment, which is the connection of midpoints, will be half of the other line segment given. So 12 and then 6. One way or the other, the line segment EF must be equal to 6. Alright, let us look at the next question. Here we have what is the solution of the following system of equations. Now, what we can do is this. We can simply graph them and then try to get the answer. Now, so when you take out the calculator, we have y equals, so let's put them in together, x plus 3 square minus 4. The bottom one is 2x plus 5. Now, if you had to sketch them, zoom standard right over here, number 6. Then use the 2 points of intersection. So how are we going to get that? By second calc. Then we get to find the intersection number 5 here. First curve, second curve, guess. Alright, 0, 5 would have been one of our answer. And the other one can be done in same way, number 5. first curve, second curve. Right before you guess, just come near the intersection. Alright. Then we get to realize another intersection must be -4, -3. So then this tells us that our answer should be choice 3. Alright, let's look at number 5. One step in a construction uses the endpoints of line segment AB to create arcs with the same radii. The arcs intersect above and below the segment. What is the relationship between line segment AB to the line containing the points? So in this case, I know that it's going to take a little bit of time, but why don't I show you what they are talking about here. So we have line segment AB. Using a compass and a ruler, okay, so here we have we're going to make an arc. Making another arc. Then with these two intersections, they want us to connect them. Then you'll realize that this will be perpendicular and also bisector. Now, the one thing that we get to realize is this is the perpendicular lines. Alright, let's move on to number 6. Two triangles are similar. Angle A and angle C are 50 and 30, meaning in this case, when you look at the correspondence, angle A corresponds to angle Z, angle C corresponds to angle Y. So in other words, measure of angle Z plus measure of angle X plus measure of angle Y, we know that to be 180 because some of the interior angles in a triangle is 180, but here we have this one is equal to 50 plus measure of angle X plus Y become 30 will be equal to 180. That's basically what they're asking. And then to find out the measure of the angle X. So in this case, when you subtract 50 and 30 from both sides, then we get to realize measure of angle X must be equal to 100 degrees, which is choice number 4. Let's look at number 7 here. We have two triangles with two congruent corresponding parts, such as the angle here and then the line segments given. Now then, since we have two pieces of information, we'll be needing one more. Let's try to check if we can use any one of these. GE must be congruent to LD. GE, which is this one, and LD will be that one. And you realize that this wouldn't make sense because this would be side-to-side angle, which is not one of the methods. Alright, then let us move on. AG, which is this line segment, to OL. This seems to be nice because we have side angle, side. So it's side angle, side. That's right. So therefore, second choice seems to be our answer. Now, number 8. Point A is not contained in plane B. So I'm going to use the parallelogram to show you that it's a plane. Assuming that that's plane B, and point A is not contained in that plane. So I'm going to say point A can be up in the air somewhere. How many lines can be drawn through the point A that will be perpendicular? So in fact, when you look into the only way that's possible is right there. Only one line can be drawn to that plane that is perpendicular and pass through that point. Because if in order for it to be perpendicular, and what if you have to be another location, then it wouldn't pass through the particular point A. So therefore, there's only one answer. Passes through point A and at the same time perpendicular to that plane. So the answer would be 1. Alright, let's look at number 9. Here, we have to realize that the equation of the circle, general form of equation of a circle, will be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared, where h comma k is the center, and then r is obviously radius. Now, then what would be our answer? Center seems to be, since there's nothing, 0, 7. So that means it's got to be 1 or 2. But 16 is the r squared, therefore r must be equal to 4. So that tells us that first one is our answer. Number 10. What is an equation of the line that passes through this point and parallel to this one? The fact that it has to be parallel, that means we need to first find the slope. Because the word parallel implies the same slope. Alright, then let's look at it. By subtracting 4x from both sides, we get to realize 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 10. Now, by dividing by 2 on all three, section y must be equal to negative 2x plus 5. And here, you will realize that negative 2 is the slope. But in fact, in this case, there's only one equation that has negative 2 as a slope, which will be choice number 4. Let us look at number 11 here. We have three line segments in a triangle. And we want to list the angle from smallest to the largest. You see the angle will be small when the line segment is short. Bigger the angle, longer the opposite side it is. So in fact, then if I have to draw a triangle here, so let us assume that this is equal to 9, 8, 7. 7 has to be AB, but A is connected with the longest side, so I'm going to put A, B, C. Then you will realize that smallest angle has to be opposite from the smallest side. C must be the smallest. So we're looking at third and fourth. That means longest side, which is 9, which is opposite from angle B, this has to be the biggest angle, which tells us that choice 4 will be our answer. Number 12. We have two tangent line segments, PA and PB, drawn to circle O. Now, then the two radii are drawn. So let us actually construct that, or draw a sketch of it. So we have alright, and then we have center about here. Okay. So then here we have, let's label them PA and PB. They're the two tangent line segments. One thing that which we get to realize is these must be equal to each other. And radii is drawn, that means these two also must be equal to each other. Now if the measure of the angle APB is 40, so this is 40 degrees, what is the measure of angle AOB? See, in fact, if I call this one as x, one thing which we get to realize that quite nicely, that is, radius and tangent, they always makes up a right angle. And that tells us that x plus 90 plus 90 plus 40 must be equal to 360. Then here, if you have to subtract, in other words, x plus 220 equals 360, that's basically what we are saying here. That means the measure of x must be equal to then 140. That becomes our answer, which is choice 1. Number 13. How do you find the length of a line segment? Simply the distance formula, which is equal to 2 minus negative 6 squared and negative 5 minus 4 squared. Then here we have square root of 64 plus here square root of 81. 9 squared becomes 81. Then here we end up getting 145. Square root of 145 becomes our answer, which is choice 4. Number 14. What do you realize about these two lines? See, one thing that which you have to realize is maybe we'll try to put them into the slope y-intercept form. And by subtracting 1/2 x from both sides, we get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Here we have, by subtracting 3x, we get y is equal to, or 6y rather, minus 3x plus 12. When you divide by 6, we get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. Now, then you will realize that y-intercepts may not be the same, 4 versus 2, but slopes are the same, so therefore they must be parallel to each other. Let's look at number 15. A transformation of the polygon that always preserves both length and orientation is length. It will always be observed except dilation, so dilation has to be out. Orientation, it will be always preserved except when we have line reflection. Then you might be wondering, between glide reflection and translation, which one should be our answer? In fact, glide translation is in fact combination of the line reflection and translation. So therefore, by definition, glide reflection contains line reflection, hence this one is supposed to be out. Only thing that is possible is choice B. Choice 2. Number 16. In which polygon does the sum of the measures of interior angles is equal to? So let's try to remember the formula. What is the sum of the interior angles? It will be 180 minus n minus 2. Now, how about sum of the measure of the exterior angle? In fact, it will always be 360. So what we can do is we can divide by 180 first. In fact, it will be very nice. Then n minus 2 is equal to 2. By adding 2, we get n equals 4. So 4 has to be the answer. That means quadrilateral becomes our final answer. Number 17. We have CE, and then that's equal to 10, and ED, which is equal to 6, and AE, which is equal to 4. What is the length of EB? Why don't we call that as x? The relationship is, we will realize 4x, 4 times x must be equal to 6 times 10. Now then, x will be equal to, in fact, 60 divided by 4. In other words, we get 15. So therefore, 15 becomes our answer, choice 1.